WWE literally called him the new Kurt Angle, an Olympic god set to take over the world. But after just one match, he was booed so badly, he disappeared. Gone. And now he's trying to do it all over again in MMA. But here's the crazy part. Everything that made him fail in WWE is happening again in MMA. In this video, we're breaking down his insane WWE failure and showing you why he's about to become an MMA fraud. This is crazy. The Golden Boy sales pitch. Okay, rewind to 2021. Gable Steveson wins an Olympic gold medal with the most insane last-second comeback ever. The guy was a global superstar overnight. So WWE did what they do best. They spent a crazy amount of money. They flew him out on a private jet, put him on TV next to Vince McMahon, and told everyone he was their biggest signing since Brock Lesnar. I'm not kidding. They compared him to Brock Lesnar. Fans went crazy, his merch was everywhere, and the hype was out of control. They gave him a main rock, runs like a cheetah, so on paper it's a perfect plan. But here's what they didn't tell you. He'd never had a single pro wrestling match, didn't know how to talk to a crowd, and had a heart procedure that slowed everything down. They basically gave him a Lambo with no gas in the tank and told him to go win a race. It was doomed from the start. The one-match wonder. Fast forward to his big debut at the Great American Bash. The announcers were screaming that history was being made, praising WWE for putting him out there when he wasn't ready. One match. That was his entire WWE career. For millions of dollars, he had 0 wins and became a giant meme. You couldn't write a bigger failure if you tried. What an implosion. The Bills blunder? But it gets even crazier. A few weeks after getting dropped by WWE, he tried to join the NFL. The Buffalo Bills signed him as a defensive tackle, even though he'd never played college football. This is insane. In the preseason, he was getting thrown around by guys who were just trying to make the team. He got 1 assisted tackle, 0 sacks, and was cut before the season even started. Another sport, another giant hype train, another epic fail. You don't need to be a genius to see the pattern here. This was a huge sign that the problem wasn't just WWE. The commitment question. So why does this keep happening? Why does this guy with insane potential keep failing? People behind the scenes all say the same thing: commitment, or the lack of it. Wrestling experts said WWE coaches begged him to move to Orlando and train at their massive performance center. But he refused. He wanted to stay in Minnesota and just fly in for TV shows. That's not how you become a superstar. And he did the exact same thing with the Bills. The coaches wanted him on the practice squad to learn the game, but he reportedly demanded a spot on the main team. In 2 different sports, the message was the same. You need to pay your dues and do the work. Champion, I don't have to. Spoiler alert, you always have to put in the work, no matter who you are. The cloud of controversy. On top of all this, there was a huge controversy hanging over his head from his college days. Even though the charges were dismissed, the damage was already done. WWE's PR team knew it was a big problem, and they were right. Fans spammed every single one of his social media posts with snake emojis and comments about it. Fair or not, when you're famous, what people think about you is everything. The public already had a reason to dislike him, so he had 0 room for error. Every little mistake got blown up, and every failure was celebrated by his haters. This isn't just a small problem. It's a massive weight he has to carry everywhere he goes. The MMA Hail Mary. And now he's announced he's going into MMA. He signed with Legacy Fighting Alliance, a smaller promotion, and immediately made his debut at LFA 217. He's been training with some big names, even getting a huge endorsement from the legendary John Jones, who was in his corner for the fight. On paper, he won, scoring a TKO in just over 90 seconds. But if you actually watched the fight, it was another giant red flag. He took down his opponent, Braden Peterson, almost immediately, but then the warning signs flashed. He started throwing wild ground and pound, and even though he got the stoppage, he looked like he was already running out of steam. We're talking less than 2 minutes into his first fight, and the cardio concerns were already obvious. The win was against an outmatched opponent, but it was far from the dominant performance everyone expected. In fact, he's already announced his next venture, a dirty boxing match in October, jumping to yet another new combat sport. People have seen this movie before, and they already know the ending. This feels like a last-ditch effort, not a real career move. The comparison trap.
Pretty young, man. Brock was the beast when I was there. Just seeing him and kind of seeing him in person and just seeing the model that he's created for a lot of athletes is crazy. So, man, truly one of a kind.
People need to stop comparing him to Brock Lesnar. It is not the same thing. Brock was also an amazing wrestler, but he approached MMA with an insane obsession. He lived in the gym and got beat up in small shows to earn his spot in the UFC. He started from the absolute bottom and worked his way up. Gable seems to want the $1 million paycheck without getting a single scratch. He wants the glory without the grind. Until he proves he's willing to do the hard work, comparing him to Brock Lesnar is just disrespectful to Brock and every other fighter who actually earned their spot.
Man, if it's there and the UFC looks at me or the PFL or whoever, my goal is to be UFC champion. I want to go out there and be with the best. I want to look the best in the face, and I want to go out there and show the world what I'm made of. And I know I can do it. If those fans think I'm ready and they want to see Gable Steveson and where he needs to go, of course. But in my eyes, do I have things to work on? Of course. And I would keep working on those things and keep showing the project as we go along.
Why he will fail again. Let's get straight to it. Even with a win on his record, here are the 5 huge red flags that prove he's going to fail in the cage. 1. The flawed victory. Yes, he won his debut, but let's be real. He beat an outmatched opponent and showed his one and only trick.
Each time I want to add a little bit more to the game plan, to the process, and show the world there can be a completeness with me. And but the first one is got to be a big takedown. It's got to be what the people want to see. But also I had a plan on standing up and going out there and showing the world that I have hands too. But the leg was there. You got to take it as a wrestler. Deep down, you got to take that leg and finish the shot and win that fight.
Takedown. MMA isn't just wrestling.
Yeah, it's a lot different than wrestling. Wrestling, you prepare for 1 7-minute match, and in MMA you prepare for 15 minutes straight of just going out there and brawling with somebody, and someone's gonna fall. And that day, thankfully, it wasn't me. So it's different. It's a different rush. It's a different thing, and it's amazing to be a part of something new and enjoy it and go out there and be free.
Win proved he can take down a guy who was brought in to lose, not that he can handle a real striker or a submission expert. The gap between his wrestling and a complete MMA skill set is a massive canyon. 2. Carousel. Be a great fighter, you need a stable team. Reports say he's already been training at multiple prominent gyms. Seems to be bouncing around looking for a shortcut. Not how you build a foundation. If you can't commit to a single camp and a process, you have no chance at the elite level. 3. Cardio concerns. His debut was less than 2 minutes long, and the critiques about his pacing started immediately. That's code for he gets tired super fast. In MMA, if you run out of gas, you're a human punching bag. It's a death sentence, and he's already showing signs of it. 4. The pressure cooker. Most new fighters learn in the shadows. For Gable, his first fight was streamed on UFC Fight Pass with the whole world watching. The win didn't silence the critics. It only made the microscope bigger. Now, every single fight is a referendum on his career. That is an insane amount of pressure for someone still learning to throw a punch. 5. The entitlement loop. It's the same story on a different stage. He wants the main event spot, the big paycheck, and the glory, but he still seems to be avoiding the grind. Now he's jumping to a dirty boxing match instead of booking a second MMA fight to build his record. It feels like he's chasing a quick spectacle rather than committing to the long, hard road of becoming a true mixed martial artist. Gable Steveson's story is a crazy cautionary tale. It's the perfect example that having more talent than anyone else means nothing if you don't have the grit and commitment to back it up. He failed in WWE because he thought his medals meant he didn't have to work. He failed in the NFL because he thought being a great athlete was enough, and now he's walking into MMA with the exact same attitude, thinking he deserves everything without earning it. Unless the guy completely changes who he is, unless he learns to be humble, gets hungry, and actually puts in the work, he is going to fail again. Only this time, it's gonna hurt a lot more.
Never try to jump the gun. The younger version of me, I'm 25 now. If I was 21, I might have would have said, "Hey, man, throw me out there and let me see the sharks." But right now, I know where I stand and I know where I can be. And I'm honored to be in a spot with great people around me: John Jones, Brandon Gibson, Greg Jackson, and I have a good team with me. And when they say the time is right, we'll be right there.
So, will Gable Steveson fail in MMA? All signs point to a massive screaming yes. But hey, Gable, if you're watching this, prove us all wrong. Go shock the world. We just won't be holding our breath.